I don't like the story and I skipped the story of this game. I know this is the hottest take of 2025. Again, you come here for the hot takes, right? I have played a few video games. And today I'm gonna yap about those video games. But they were different. So first of all, we're starting actually off with South of Midnight is the game I played. So as mentioned last time, you were there last time, right? Yeah, you were. Anyways, so EU got no, it's. I bought the Xbox Game Pass, so keep in mind I have spent €0. Okay, technically I spent $12, right? But $12 overall, 0 specifically for this game. You can kind of see it as that. So it's like if you gave me this game for free and I plug it into my console and I play it and that's it. That's kind of the experience. That's at least what it feels like, because $12 is like, I spent more going to a buffet yesterday. So just for reference. So $12 is, to me, literally nothing. With this in mind, I also sometimes feel like it's bad playing these games because I spent nothing and I get something for it. There's like a bad transaction between me, the player, and them, the developer, right? So if you watch a movie for free, you probably have no attachment because you didn't spend anything for it. I don't know if that's real or if this is just in my head. So for comparison, if you spend $10, you kind of want something for it and you will consume it because you spent $10 for it. But if you didn't spend anything for it, you don't mind not consuming it properly. Maybe, I don't know. Does this make sense? Who knows? Maybe I'm just like out of my... Am I going insane? I hope. Anyways, so with this in mind, South of Midnight. I talked about this game because it looked interesting. The TLDR, I stopped playing it. I stopped playing it after, let me check right now. This is the first recording. I did a second start, an hour and 10 minutes. Just think about this. After an hour and 10 minutes, I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to play more of this. That's just how it is. In 2 separate sessions, to be honest. But it started off with instantly a cutscene of just someone yapping, literally exposition dump at the middle, at the beginning of the game. I think I also started at like balance difficulty. Hope it's not too loud. So yeah, balance difficulty. It has this like drawn comic book or like a tale being told to you. That's how it's like shown. It's as mentioned just from the screenshots. It's incredible how much similarities there are, or how it feels like. It gives me the same vibe as Alice Madness Returns 14, 16 years ago. It's huge. I think it's a huge influence from there. So,
and these damaged threads give rise to the evil spirits called haints.
So yeah, they have 17 different names for 17 different things already in the video game. It's I understand. If you want to buy, if you buy a game, you want to have an experience. I think that is being sold a lot better than being more mysterious and slowly finding things out, or having to read to find things out. So people want to. Are being told what's going on, right? I think people enjoy that a lot more, at least the average consumer. Fine. Thing is, that's not me. If you give me the next Hollow Knight where nothing is fucking explained and you just play through the game and you slowly absorb everything, I much more prefer that. This is the exact opposite. This is exposition dump from second one because it already starts with down in the deep south. Okay, so we're in the south. That's fine. Folks spin tales about the Grand Tapestry or something. Cool. Grand Tapestry. The flying heck is that? Folk sorrows and evil spirits called haints. Okay, so we got... In the south, we got the Grand Tapestry, and we got Haints. Got it. Okay. So Storm Bruce, a Weaver. Okay, so a Weaver gifted the power to reach into the past and mend. Okay, so by the way, this is literally just chaos and order fighting each other for eternity, right? That's just a classic thing being told in video games, right? She's Order, she controls the evil enemies or fights them, and brings order to chaos. Boom, evil spirits are gone. Cool. And apparently there was no Weaver for the last Weaver vanished long ago, blah blah blah. And of course it's instantly her after the cutscene, so you already know what's gonna happen. So all right, cool. Instantly the chosen one, more or less. So yeah, there's that. Then we also get this weird scene where I feel like this could have been told without a lot of yapping, in my opinion. So she says out loud, I don't know if this feels. Maybe it's just weird for the protagonist, or maybe I'm just overthinking this. Like I compared this to, how did Zero Dawn do it? Like Horizon. I think she also talked a lot, maybe to herself. So maybe this is just me being evil to the game, or just not being nice to the game. So I will not harp on this too long, but it felt a little bit weird, her sitting in the room being like, man, I missed the singing on the bus with these guys, and then shows these guys.
Another medal too. We was fast as hell.
Yeah, she's like yapping about like the past to herself, but it's clearly for the viewer, right? I don't know if this could this scene have told differently? Yes, because she should have just made some facial expressions, looking at this picture, and then showing.
We was fast.
I think it was right here. There was one. I think one shot. Okay, there wasn't even a shot of the medal or something. So yeah, you could have you can say a lot with just a few shots, without yapping. I'm doing yapping right now, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't know. It feels like. I don't know. I wish it would just be better. All right, cool. The narrator, Uncle Bob, Old Willie, the Yapper, Loudmouth, Screecher, Morgan Freeman. I have no idea what that is.
Hell.
Fine.
Probably
So yeah.
got sucked into work again. Typical. I shouldn't be doing all this packing by myself.
She's, I think, younger, so I guess I have to think of it from this perspective. Like maybe she's 19, 18, 21, something along those lines. So younger-ish, right? Still an adult. So yeah, now everything is being explained, nice tutorialization. The problem is I was already right there, because keep in mind, there was a cutscene before, so you didn't even jump into the game playing the game. You jumped into the game to watch a cutscene. I was like, all right, let me play the video game. All right, cool. Now it's like, click on these lore things of just looking at stuff, and she's just yapping to herself. That's fine. Could have also been like her inside voice. That's fine. That's cool. Okay, inside voice is already fine. And I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Because I think I was looking at this lore book or something, and I was like, okay, what's learn more about Lacey's home. So I think literally the objective is maybe, I guess, just look at stuff, and when you clicked everything, boom, now it starts. I think now it starts. So I was like, okay, cool. It's just, I don't know. I'm not someone who's like, oh yeah, this is a new character I'm going to play. Let me learn everything about their lives. No. No, I really don't care about this stuff, kind of. So in that way, at least, I'm like, just let me play the video game. Let me. I guess I want to be emotionally invested to my main character, to then care about learning more about their lives. That's how I want my writing to be in my games. This is the exact opposite. This is the main character. You will play them. Now learn about it. No, I'm not even invested in her or anything about her. So yeah, already not my type of storytelling, but that's how the game starts. All right, cool. More yapping, more stuff, and I think at this point, I think I was already done.
Did you pack everything? Mama, I'm grown.
Yeah, so this is actually where I already started skipping stuff. So this, so it lasted for not too very long. It didn't last for very long, so I was like, all right, let's play the video game, boys. It's super. I'm already shocked that this is the beginning of the game, right? It's dark. There's a literal storm happening, and she now has to go around. Keep in mind, this is in modern day. In a modern day world, I think they have a fucking car, so they have a phone. There are phone lines. You cannot tell me they don't have phone lines. Maybe phone lines in 1970s were probably pretty expensive, so people just walked 6 meters to the other neighbor, right? But there's a storm outside. Wow, okay, fine, sure. You know, let your daughter in this storm where literally hell is happening right now. Like, it already feels weird, right? Look, I don't know if any mother would be like, yeah, go outside, go to the neighbor at this storm. How important is it really? I don't know. I skipped the cutscene. I don't know how important it is. I cannot imagine it's that important that you go outside during this storm. But it's also like 5 meters. That's fine. I don't know. It's like, bro, just do it yesterday. By the way, she's really fast, can clearly jump, but can't jump over these fences. Classic video game, you know, invisible barrier. All right, cool. Next. So thankfully, she is pretty fast. Like her movement speed is pretty. It's going, right? She's going. Also, the game does look pretty. Like the game visually, it's not that difficult to make. Pretty game. This is, I think, Unreal Engine 2. So there's that. So yeah. Again, I was not interested in her because the game didn't make me interested in her at all. I don't care. About the relationships and all, you know, that's not my type of writing. So, TLDR. I started skipping stuff again. Good. Next. This is just a fetch quest. Go to this, go to that. So, oh no. And now, of course, the big thing happened. I don't know what the heck happened because, you know, I skipped the cutscene. Whatever. The mother freaking house is being swapped away or washed away by the insane... This is happening right now. This is happening right now. The water, the literal house is just being moved away by the water. Correct. Okay? I don't know how we get here. Because I don't know where the heck the river was. Next to them, I didn't see anything. Anyways, how on earth is this the start of the game? You are literally around 20 years old. And you're running after a house being washed away. How is this the beginning of your video game? Like, would this be normal for her age? No, you call them motherfucking police. It's their job. Yes, your mom is in there, but how much can you do against water that is washing away the house? It's like, it makes no fucking sense. Holy shit. Anyways, I'm serious. You run some more, and then, oh no, my mom is gone. Oh shit, and now it's like...
She's got it.
Yeah, and now we just do something else. All right, cool. Then I think she goes to her aunt. Again, like, oh my god, crazy shit is happening. This feels like a demo you play during like 10 minutes on a convention booth, and you're like, oh my, this is crazy experience, guys. And then you actually get into the game, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you realize what's actually going down, right? That's like, this is pretty much just to sell you on the game for like, I don't know, like 15 minutes. And then you're like, oh, okay, I understand now what this video game is. Anyhow, by the way, her dad died. I don't care about her or her family because the game didn't, I don't know. Anyhow, I was giving this 2 seconds of attention right there in this cutscene where it's already like annoying side character. We already get to know like 17 different characters already that do not care because in the next hours you will not find them or see them or hear about them, by the way. They're gone. They're gone. They do not exist in this game anymore after this. So yeah, I was like, never mind, skipping it. I think she gets locked in. She gets into a dream. And I think this kind of like unlocks her becoming the chosen weaver, whatever the heck. So she follows these trails now, you know, so the classic thing in video games. She follows the secret areas, revealed, boom. And of course she finds the weapons that you use to fight and of course weave the chaos, I guess, or bring order to chaos or the evil spirits, you know. It's clearly a AA studio, it's not AAA, but it's definitely more than indie, I think, but it definitely feels like there's a lot of like, sure, okay, this is a video game. So yeah. So yeah, now you can just control it. So yeah, she just sticks it in there, boom boom, and now brings order, I guess, to chaos. And then she's just like... Also, if you didn't notice, if you look at the mouth right now...
And I'm gonna find my mama on my own.
So yeah, there's a little bit of that clay motion, I think, is it called? Or at least Kai in Discord mentioned this clay motion. I don't like it.
And I'm gonna find my mama on my own.
Yeah, it's really distracting. It's really distracting to me, the clay motion effect on her mouth. And a lot of characters, they have this clay motion thingy. Not a huge fan of it. Not a huge fan of it. I know this is a vibe, but when you play the game at like 100 to 80 to 100 FPS on a modern PC, and keep in mind, people in the future will have better PCs on average, meaning they will have more FPS, and it becomes more and more jarring as time goes on. So your game looks actually worse, not better. That's why you don't have cutscenes with 24 FPS and 1080p. You render them out either as high as freaking possible now, and let them render for like six months, and then they're 4K 60 FPS, so they don't look like absolute garbage in 10 years, or you do them in real time in the engine, similar to, I think, a lot of Assassin's Creed games, because now you have both the FPS and the quality across the board over everything. This game didn't do that. I don't think this game's going to look bad in 10 years, right? Because we're really reaching the limit on how good games can look, I think. And of course, not everyone has like a 4K OLED and everything, but still. Anyways, this is now actually where the game starts to become actually a video game. So you have your areas, you follow the path, you follow the trail, you have these very pretty environments, to be honest, right? There is a lot of happening, like a lot of grass, a lot of like nicks and knacks, making the environment actually feel like an environment. So that's, I think, pretty common now in most AAA games, or at least AA games. We'll get to Expedition 33 after this, which is, has its own issues. Even though it's praised like hell. So anyways, it looks like FPS drops, yes. Yeah, it feels a bit off. And every character, this is actually not that bad, I think, with her. I think at some point, maybe they just lost kind of, I know I'm skipping ahead a lot here. There is, was it this one? Was it this one? Was it this one? Okay, maybe it's the other, okay, never mind. There's a big ass fish that you meet. There's probably some mythological lore, or I don't know, Me no care. Me no read books, clearly. But anyhow, that looks really jarring at that big ass fish with its like cartoony big mouth, kind of like FPS. Anyway, it looks weird. Anyhow, good. Moving on. You move through here. You start fighting, and the problem with fighting is, yeah, this is completely useless. I am now playing at, I think, the easiest difficulty, because I was like, I think it was actually here where I was like, this just takes way too long. Yeah, this I think is actually more difficult, the easy difficulty. Either way, I just stepped it down. I was like, all right, these are just basic ass mobs. You don't get any XP. You don't get anything major from them. Let's just keep moving, boys. The game is clearly not meant for gameplay, but here I am. So the problem is, every time you kill a monster, you didn't actually kill it. You always have to do another input, and they always like fall away from you. So you have to like take a few steps forward, and now do this. And now their spirit, or whatever the heck, is like cleansed, whatever the flying heck is happening. You do this with every single enemy. All the time. Forever. This becomes boring after 30 minutes, by the way. And you also have to do it with these things. After you kill all the enemies, this thing also has to be cleansed. And it's really weird how... I don't know why they did this. She has her weapons, right? And she does this. And now they disappeared. But the thing is, this, I think, sometimes also happens during other moments where you, right after this, need your weapon again. So it kind of feels weird that she, like her things disappear, and then you instantly spawn them back because something else happens. I don't know. It feels a bit weird sometimes. Again, this is where I was like actually taking a little bit the scenery in, Like, okay. Right, looking a little bit at the game, It is very pretty. I give you that, Again, it's not that difficult, I think, to make a decent looking game. I mean, it is, I think, fairly cel-shaded to a degree. It's not like hyper realistic, but I think that's good, right? Again, I like Horizon Zero Dawn, which also went for more of a stylistic choice and not like hyper realism, because I think that's long term a bit more difficult. I think upped the gamma a little bit just so the recording isn't as dark, because the game is fairly dark. It's fine on an OLED, but for recording I actually upped the gamma a little bit, the brightness. Well, I think gamma and brightness are two different things. Anyhow, so go through this, and then, oh my god, more lore! This little thing. I don't know how this continues being there. There is no way this thing would survive the flood we saw earlier. This thing would be washed away. But anyways, we're in magic territory now, right? So it doesn't matter. Logic is out the freaking window. Anyway, she's now really... I don't know, I don't like the ludonarrative dissonance where you like fight enemies and then you're like super scared about touching certain things. You're like, oh my god, what is this? Oh no, it's making some weird sound and looks weird. You literally fought evil spirits. I hate ludonarrative dissonance. Anyways, moving on, stuff happens, you gain more abilities and you start unlocking, you get like some currency and you can unlock stuff, which is, by the way, all upgrades are non-refundable. Do you see this right here? All upgrades are non-refundable. I don't know why it went like full Souls-like right there for a game that feels more like casually. Either way, none of these upgrades actually increase the damage, I think. It's always like conditional stuff. So, for example, one of the upgrades was, I think you can like snare enemies into some sort of like weave, you know, because it's all like weaving things. So you like stun them pretty much, and while they're stunned, they take more damage. It's all conditional stuff. I'm not a huge fan of it, but, you know, it's. I think people actually enjoyed it a lot more. It's fine. Whatever. So, yeah. Again, very pretty right here. But, yeah, you go through an area, more lore, more people, and because you follow now those people, and I think maybe a previous Weaver or something along those lines, she now finds out how to do the spells herself. Fine, you know, it's the kind of the Metroidvania kind of thing, right? So now she knows how to like create things out of the weaves or whatever the hell. So boom, never mind, I'm bad at the video game right there. So yeah, create a bridge, then you have more fights. So yeah, I'm gonna skip ahead. Keep in mind, I skipped every single thing so far, right? And I feel like after an hour and 10 minutes, I was done with the gameplay, and I was already in Act 4, by the way. I don't know how many acts there are. By the way, yes, she starts flying at some point. She gets like, you know, this wee little like cape that she can create now. So yeah, so you get like I think, I don't know, what do you get? You can create things. You can wall jump. Now you can wall run. You can double jump. You can fly, or like kind of, it's a dash and glide. It's a dash and glide at the same time, and I think that's pretty much all the Metroidvania abilities in the first 30 minutes. And I think that's pretty much it. And from that on, it just, you know, uses those techniques because you have them. Because the game knows you have them, because it gave it to you in a very linear fashion. And yeah, that's pretty much that. And now the game, I guess, is like, care about these random-ass situations where, oh my god, this brother attacked this brother. I don't know. It's just wall running. Again, story-wise, I was like already like tapped the frick out. By the way, this is unskippable. What is it right now? This stuff right here. So when you do this at a certain location, you get teleported in this environment. This is unskippable. You have to watch this. There is nothing you can do. You know, again, it's a story game, so if you like story, boys, there are a lot of story. Will it make sense? I cannot guarantee that. So yeah, she has a bottle that she got from the big-ass fish. It feels like if I explain this, you think I'm insane. Anyways, again, we're in magic territory. Nothing of this is like, I don't know, there's lore. Technically, there's new lore being created here, right? But it's like, I don't know, it's heavy. It's like heavy lore, I think, of like, hey, bro, I don't even care about this main protagonist yet. It's like, you know, we're like literally from the house being like washed away. No, actually, before the house before we even play our main character, you already get like an exposition dump about who the Weaver is. No. You know how you would actually start this game? By her literally running. Because that's the point that she says right here. That's how you should start the game. you start training, running, and becoming faster, and becoming the person you're going to play in the future. That's how it should have started. Her with her friends, starting as like a little, like, God, Horizon Zero Dawn had the best freaking opening of every video game. It's like, anyways, good. Moving on, stuff happens. I think we free the fish at some point and go up the big ass tree, which is, by the way, a person. Spoiler. Again, magic territory right now. Then you get another ability. I think you get your little. I think you get your little buddy back. So this is actually, I think, at the beginning of the game, you have like your little guy, right? But then you unlock it as a throwable thing. It's a little mini game, right? It's literally a mini game. You can just control this guy, and we can throw it around. It's kind of funny, you know. I get it, and that's why I mean, with this gives me like huge Alice Madness Returns vibes from like enemies are chaos. They just have like it's like heavy lore. Not comic book, but more like a tale you tell your children. That's kind of what it feels like, you know. It's like, oh, there was a weaver controlling evil spirits that are being conjured up by being negatively minded or whatever the heck. Yeah, fine. There are a few other enemies that you can fight in different ways, but again, if it's the easy difficulty, you hit them. You hit them hard and you hit them a lot. And being hit doesn't matter. Again, this is easy difficulty. It's fine. But again, it does the same problem that another game does, which is Expedition 33, which we can yap about right now. Is, I think, higher difficulty gives enemies more health. And I absolutely hate that we still do this, but, you know, here we are. All right, let's go. We now yap about Expedition 33. Keep in mind, I'm not going into... I feel like I'm super negative today. Let me take a quick break. Let me just calm down again. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just not a game for me. I have to keep that in mind. So, cheers. Stay hydrated. I didn't for the past 30 minutes. So South of Midnight, not my type of game. Feel free to check it out. I think it's actually below normal AAA prices. But again, it's not my kind of thing. It is incredibly story heavy from second one, literally starting with a cutscene, not with the gameplay that I wish it would start with. Fine. All right. Technically, Horizon Zero Dawn also didn't start with that. So there's that. But you're also a child. So there's a little bit of a... Like, the moment you're a child, it feels a lot more... Maybe I give it more leeway when you start playing a child at the beginning of the game and not an adult. Or like a young teenager or older teenager. Either way, South of Midnight, a game. A video game. Expedition 33. As with most games, I do not watch the trailers, or if I watch the trailers, I do not watch extra gameplay, or I watch the gameplay trailer. With this, I literally went in mostly blind. The only thing I knew was that this game was turn-based, which I'm usually not a fan of, but spoiler, this is actually the good part, I think, of my experience. And that JRPG fans are very hyped about that this game is popular because it shows to other companies, specifically I think Square Enix, that turn-based still works. Square Enix, though, has always focused, or recently focused in the past years, to make more action combat, not turn-based, so it's real-time combat. So this potentially shows them there is still like a large audience that wants good turn-based games, right? They're still being sold, or clearly is, I think, being sold, because I think Expedition 33 has made quite the numbers. I have not looked into them. Again, I went into this fairly blind, and so yeah, again, context, I didn't buy this game. I got it through Xbox Game Pass. So again, I spent like $0 pretty much to play this game. Thus, my expectation is I'm not losing anything if I stop playing this game after 30 minutes. That might color my experience, but the same goes for if you just
right in front of my salad.
Oh my god. It's the same as if you would be, for example, pirating the game. Not that that you should do that, but it's pretty much the same, right? Not really, but anyways. Good. With this in mind, I read through the game difficulty, right? So I was like, interesting. Expert, hard difficulty, and highly demanding combat. Enemies deal greater damage, and mastering dodges and parries is required. Recommended for players who enjoy difficult games with real-time mechanics. Okay. Hard difficulty with highly demanding combat. Enemies deal greater damage, and mastering dodges and parries is required. Expert says nothing about the enemies having more health. Okay? Thus, I chose expert mode because I freaking hate it when they make every enemy a mother freaking tank. I absolutely despise that type of gameplay. I despise that type of difficulty. I prefer if the enemies have normal health and I two-shot them, but they also two-shot me. That's the beauty of it, because that's the difficult part. But that's usually not how it's seen, sadly, by developers. Maybe there's an explanation for this. With this in mind, I went expert mode. We're not gonna be expert mode for long, I tell you that right now. Believe me. Again, because they didn't communicate what expert mode really does. And this actually comes up multiple times, by the way. This game fails at communicating a lot of things. And I don't know why communication is still such a massive difficulty for developers. Just tell me, bro. And literally of like, oh, this is an RPG, right? So it gives you at least all the numbers. No, it doesn't even do that. It literally just tells you increased damage. I'm like, bro, just give me the percentage. Yeah. Still, AA, not AAA. I think it's a AA studio. At least that's how I saw it. Some people told me these are ex-Ubisoft employees. So they made their own studio, their own game, and here we are. Good. 2 issues. Cutscenes are not rendered in 4K, so they will look hot trash long term when people are already playing on 4K TVs on a console, and you want the console market to play your game because it's a massive market. The cutscenes are literally 1080p. They look bad. That doesn't mean the animation is bad. That doesn't mean the art style is bad. The resolution is bad. I wish the resolution would be better. So, and here comes the first character that took me out of this goddamn intro. We're 2 minutes in, boys. And I think the first minute was just reading the difficulty. So, I don't like the story, and I skipped the story of this game. I know, this is the hottest take of 2025. Again, you come here for the hot takes, right? Buy DLC in 1 month for 4K. The 4K upgrade, boys. The remaster in 2 years. No, hopefully not. Anyways, the game looks, by the way, the game looks gorgeous. Like, this game looks better than South of Midnight, and looks actually, I think, more realistic. It's still quite stylized, but still. Anyways, I love him. He is probably the best looking character because he is the main character for quite some time, at least for quite some time. 20 minutes for me, probably 2 hours if you watch all the cutscenes. Anyhow, we're gonna get into that. Good. His animations, I feel like the mocapping of him just looking and like look at his movement and eyes and facial. I like that. I really like that. I feel like that's really well done for him. And then she comes along. I don't know what they have thought about this or why they did this. She is one character that does not fit in this game visually. Her character model feels like she is from a different game. Please look at him. Look at him now. And then look at her. You cannot look at him and now look at her. Okay? Look at his face and how he looks like kind of like a normal human being, of course, stylized, and it's a video game, right? In a cutscene. And now look at her. She doesn't look like she belongs in this game. It's like they copy-pasted her from some other game. Specifically, by the way, actually, I can tell you which game. It's called The First Descendant, because this is a mother-freaking Korean MMO where characters look like this. We're not far off here, okay? So it feels like either they... Yeah, looks pretty... I think this is actually the beginning of the game. So yeah, look at her. And then look at her. We're not far off here, by the way. And I don't understand why. Because they clearly knew what they were doing with him, right? He looks good. I want more characters to look like him. But then they made anime doll character number 70 billion with her. I don't understand. Yes, of course she's conventionally attractive because you want a conventionally attractive character because she becomes part of the main game of the four group, whatever the heck you're gonna have. But she doesn't look like she belongs in this game, and this just instantly took me out. And again, I'm someone who analyzes games from top to bottom, that looks similar to her. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm the weirdest freaking guy who thinks like this. I don't know. She looks just a bit too anime. Yes, you can have bigger eyes, but she just looks like you kind of like need to pull it back like 10-20%. And you know why I'm saying this? Because there's a character that looks good in the future. Anyways, yapping. By the way, we're still... So, we're now finally in the game. Again, the game looks pretty. I do have to turn the graphics down because this game actually pushes my 3090 way beyond its limits. So, there's that. So, I had to actually like pull back and activate some DLSS. So, there's quite a lot of flickering with the hair. Sorry for that in the recording. Which you might not even notice because 1080p stream. Either way, you're running real goddamn fast. You're running really fast in this game. I was like, wow, okay, he's sprinting. But again, okay, cool. You know, I like me a faster game because, you know, I usually feel like a lot of games you run a bit too slow. So maybe this sped it up a bit. All right. So, already we're going full magic, by the way, in this game. We're already going super magic, right? You're on here and you're already like having magic grappling hooks and everything from like second one. All right, we like the power limit, not power limit, but the bare minimum of power is already pretty high in this game. So, and this is actually, I think, the tutorial now, where, you know, explains the game on what you can do. You can dodge, you can parry, and you know the combat is absolutely fine. It looks over the top and crazy powerful with all these effects. I think they just went... With some effects, I think they went way over the board. But I think they just really had to just turn on the knobs to make combat just really crazy looking, right? Just like, oh my god, looks insane. So yeah, like this, for example. This effect is so over the freaking top. Look at this effect. Like the counter is always like, look at this. There's a massive shockwave with a blue circle that then expands into this with another massive circle in the middle, or maybe the original, with some weird effects on top of it that just are literal blocks, by the way. Little pixel blocks. This is the counter. So yeah, they went really over the top with the effects. They just like go absolutely haywire. But, you know... I guess a little bit being over the top with that is kind of fun, especially if you want to, you know, actually be... That also looks goddamn insane. So yeah, they really went kind of crazy with the effects. So maybe, again, pulling it a little bit back could have been better. Either way, that's the least issue, right? Being crazy, visually kind of crazy sometimes. At least to me. Story-wise, though, I do like that they're yapping while you're moving. That's good. I was like, all right, you know, cool. She's you and Sophie broke up so long ago. All right, cool. All right, that's just like, okay, I'm me. Sophie is whoever that is, my past partner, girlfriend, whoever. And like, we're talking about while moving. That's good. Like, Yes, good. Thankfully, we don't stand around and have to just like look at the video game, right? Where we can move. Let's go. So yeah, now we're going down here. She also looks kind of out of place. Just very slightly. Not that much, but just a tiny incy bit. I don't know. I don't know. Something felt weird because she looks kind of weird to a degree, or at least, again, conventionally attractive. Of course you want to have conventionally attractive characters. It's a goddamn video game. You want to sell it to people, to the most part. On the other side, One Piece exists, and there's Big Mom, which also sells quite a bit. Anyways, like, she looks like kind of more normal, right? But then you have her, which looks like a little bit of a doll. So, I don't know. And again, he also looks like conventionally, but he looks like a kind of a real kind of character. But I don't know. Maybe it's like a Western Eastern difference. Maybe they just really want to do like pander more to the Eastern audience. Not pander in a bad way, right? They just like the Eastern audience will like our game because we're turn-based, right? And more JRPG. So we kind of need females maybe or women that just that are conventionally attractive and maybe look a little bit more Asian or are literally anime characters. So, fine. Good. All right. So, skipping ahead. I feel like I talked more in 10 minutes than they did. But yeah, this is a yapping stream. And it's difficult to explain all of this. It takes time. Sorry. I haven't seen a status menu yet. Have you not been able to open it? Or isn't there one? Because it's heresy to not have that in a turn-based. What do you mean status menu? Exactly. What do you mean with the status menu? It's the hairstyle. I don't know. I mean, one other thing is that, not the DLSS, not that, the resolution, the mouth, the voice, because I think this is made in France and the original language most likely is French, they didn't match the lip movement to the English voice actors. Or when the voice actor like dubs over the characters, the mouth doesn't move correctly. That's a minor thing. I'm totally fine with that. It's okay. It's all right. But I'm just saying. Good. So this is kind of where you can run as her because you go to the harbor, or you can then also instantly switch to the other character. So there's like a button you can switch between. So you can, as with most games, right? Which character do you want to like run around? That's kind of what they allow you to do, which is nice. It's kind of normal. Status menu, so you know your character, what the fuck your character has. That's coming up. By the way, 11 minutes. If you think we're already in the game, sir, this is a story game, right? It will take you about an hour that you're actually in the game. No, it's not an hour, but it's long. And it's actually longer. For me, we'll see. So right now, I have consumed all the dialogue. I have read all the dialogue. I am now running through this area, and I am slightly sick of the exposition already. 11 minutes, 12 minutes into my video game where I want to play the game. Keep in mind, I have controller in hand, and I have to hear them yap about their old relationship, but actually not saying anything at all. Okay? So, and it's also not exposition of what's going to happen with what the heck the expedition is. So it's also not that. Fine. Good. With controller in hand, I run through this area, and I think the game is like, hey, do you really want to skip ahead now? I think it actually is right here, maybe? Do you want to head to the harbor? Yes. I think it actually... Anyway, there were a few, like, painters and other NPCs that you can yap to, and nothing's probably gonna happen. It's just exposition. I was like, no, just let me actually go through this. Boom. Let's hack and go. Let's go through the game. Let's play the video game. Oh, you fool. There's 2 cutscenes now. Actually, I lied. There are 3. I think. No. Nah, there are 2 now. I think. Now there are 2 cutscenes now. Maybe there are 3. Anyways, so... Children, the children worked with her. She actually told them how to sew some stuff. They, there's 5. No, there's gonna be a few more. But I think there are 3 in a row at the beginning. So yeah, it's a little gift to him, his little satchel, right? So because he's, I guess, going on the expedition. Again, I had no freaking idea what's happening. The game didn't tell me shit. We're 13 minutes in, and they mostly did yapping or running, so I don't know what's happening. So I was literally lost, but fine. Let's all be a big mystery. Fine. This, by the way, reminded me a lot about Steins Gate, and I stopped watching Steins Gate because, no, you gotta give me something to continue watching your show. After 7 episodes, I was sick of it. This is kind of what this felt like. More mystery than actual stuff I care about. And again, main character, I just met you. Your love, which is not playable, and a second character, right? She's not the main character. She is the second character. You just met her. He cares about her. But I have never met you. I just played you for a little bit. I'm starting to get to know you, and I should care about her now. Mistake number 1, video game and writers. So, back and forth. This is a gift. I love you so much. Oh my god, it's going... This is to your legacy. The OST is very strong. The OST and the music lifts this game up by about 90%. It does 90% of the heavy lifting. It's not the visuals, it's not the characters, it's not the writing, it's music. 90%. But by the way, that's bad. You don't only want music to act like... Music can help a lot, right? But it should emphasize the good part even more. It shouldn't be only the good part. By the way. But again, they paid, I think, a lot for the money for good OST because that's what people like. Because music just really grabs you at the heartstrings. So yeah, I really care about you that I've never met in my entire existence. By the way, this is still the same cutscene. So I think this is now fade out. Fade in. This is the second cutscene, by the way. Completely different vibe now. Completely different coloring. All right, cool. Good. Again, nothing's happening, by the way. It's music, camera shots, and just looking at their faces and at the environment and whatever's happening in the front. Okay? Again, keep this in mind. I'm not being I don't want to be an absolute asshole, okay? I'm trying to enjoy the game, but if you did not make me care about the main character, I do not care about her love interest because I do not know her. I do not know what's happening because you have not explained anything, video game. What should I feel now looking at their faces, holding hands and looking at the big 34 number in the sky? I feel lost. I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't know the emotion you want me to feel right now. And again, that's why I mean that the music does 90% of its heavy lifting, because it's like, oh, it's a sad music, you should feel sad. But that's like so incredibly manipulative, in my opinion. It's so manipulative. That's at least what it feels like. I don't mind if there's great music that makes you feel sad, but you need to make me feel sad for the characters, and you do that by writing good characters and having some emotional connection to them, and then like feeling 70% sad, and then the music just bumps it up to 120 and then you cry, right? And that's the great part. Anyways, what the fuck do you mean I should care about these guys? Nobody told me anything. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Like, again, I'm analyzing everything. I'm a guy that analyzes everything because I care about it, and I want good stuff to exist. This ain't it, brother. This ain't it. This just ain't it. Again, nothing's happening really, right? We're just looking, and oh no. And I can tell you, right, I know how to write this, by the way, better. Me, an absolute fucking dumbass. I know how to write this better, by the way. I will tell you in a bit. At least how I would want it. You know, objectively. Subjectively. Better. Anyways, so yeah. There's the witch. Hi, Daniel here during editing. Sorry to chime in. During the ending of the stream, I talked about how to write this scene better, so I will put this section right now instead of at the end where it kind of feels disconnected. Enjoy. So about this cutscene right here, where I said, me being like apparently good writer, which I'm not, by the way, but oopsie, sorry. So me being a good writer, which I'm not. This cutscene with her, this was too slow for me, right? So you have already a cutscene where they are together and barely chat, and now it's like very melodramatic, I guess, and all this jazz. And they just look and 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 everyone dissolves and she doesn't dissolve and now she dissolves as the last character, of course, is the way I would want to make this better, in my opinion, to me, would be to actually have some urgency. And why would I want that? Because, and maybe that's not how the character should be. That's a whole different story that I would have to look deeper into it, of course, long term, what the game wants to become. But, you already lost me with this scene, right? You already lost me. I would much more prefer that they both maybe he, or I don't know. I would just want them to realize their time is running out. Literally, right? There's a massive freaking clock pretty much looking at it. It pretty much looks like a clock, right? Of like a 34, and at the moment it's 33, it's over, right? The time is gone, right? There is no more time together. It's over. Instead of being quiet, right? I think an emotional reaction would be, for example, that they both realized they haven't said everything to each other. So they want to. So they become maybe agitated, maybe want to say more and more in a shorter time. So they speak more openly, faster, more emotionally, crying, just emotions overflowing because they realize they literally run out of time being together. And they want to say everything before the other person is gone. But they can't, right? And in the last sentence, and you need to write this really well. You need to write this incredibly well, this scene to work. And in the last sentence, whatever that might be, she cannot say the last few words because she literally is gone. She will dissolve, so she literally couldn't say everything. And that is how I would write this scene. The urgency, the knowing it's going to be too late, I will not be able to say everything because I have constantly not said everything. I wasn't open enough. I constantly just, of course, realizing he should have been more open to her, but he wasn't. He should have been more active. He wasn't. And then realizing in this moment, oh shit, it's too late now. And now he's like sharing more and more and more. And more, maybe both of them even, right? Showing that they are a good couple together, but they just like, it didn't really maybe work out at that time. But yeah, now it's too late. Now she's gone. Like, that would be how I write this scene. That's how I would want it, right? Them realizing they want to say everything, but they can't anymore because of this magic thing that's happening right now. That's how I would write it, because they clearly, I think, wanted to say a lot more, but clearly didn't, right? There was this, like, awkward thing, how I feel, I wish things had been, I often think, da-da-da. Like, he clearly can't, like, say the words right now, because maybe he has a barrier, he's just like, I don't know. But I feel like in this moment, when she's going to be gone, or dead, or which is pretty much kind of the same at this point, right? If she dies or he dies, I don't know. Like, in his point of view, she kind of dies, but I think they kind of don't. I don't know how the logic is again in this game. It would make a lot more sense that they are like, the emotions are overflowing, and you want to overshare, and you just finally get it all out. But it's too late. It's literally too late because he waited. And he was not active. He was passive. So I think that's how I would want to write this scene. Because that's also, I think, a good start for a hero. Because if you want him to become the hero, it would be kind of nice that him being so passive and not laid back, but like, just stunted in a lot of situations, that over the game, he becomes the hero, right? He becomes more active, he becomes more open, and says what he wants to say. Because he has learned if he doesn't do it right now, he might not have the chance, because in this situation, if there would have been some urgency, if you would have written it this way, you can't potentially because it's too late, because he has now experienced loss in this situation, right? That's how I would write this character. That's sadly not how it is. And that's me being an absolute dumbass, right? I'm not good at writing. I wouldn't know how to write this now in 5 minutes, because that's not a 5-minute job. A proper story like this, you would need you need to take time and write it properly. But yeah, that's how I would have loved this scene, because that just shows that, I don't know, I think that would have hit so much harder, especially with the music as well, right? Oh, would have been great. Would have been great. Sadly, that's not this game. Sadly, that's not this intro. This intro is super long, says fuck all, and then wants me to care about both of them, but I do not know any of them. And the music has to do the heavy lifting because the writing literally didn't do the writing. There is just, I don't know. There just isn't. All right, good. That's just what I really wanted to say when it comes to Expedition 33. That was the one major thing I really wanted to mention, because I feel like that intro scene could have been, to me, much better, but it wasn't. And the cue is now. Oh my god, that's the number of the game. Okay, cool, guys. All right, poggers. Yeah, now she cries as if I care about, and now people disappeared that I did not care about. Because again, I do not know this world, I do not know these people. And of course, everyone disappears, by the way, before she does. Of course. Obviously, you know, she's the last one, of course. You gotta make the cutscene good. Again, music is beautiful. Music is beautiful. Love it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful music. I love it. I feel emotional now. But because of the music, not because of the characters and the cutscene. And that she died. I did not care about her. She doesn't fucking matter. Literally, she's gone. Right? That's what I mean. It's the music. The music that does like 90% of the heavy lifting. And I kind of care a little bit about him because he just has good facial animations. That's very well done, right? And he is actually looking like a person. That can exist in this universe, in my opinion. Good. With this out of the way, we're 20 minutes into this video game. By the way, there's another cutscene. So I think there's actually 3 cutscenes now. Yeah, these are the triple cutscenes. So we had this cutscene of them yapping. Then we had this cutscene of her disappearing. And then we have her gone, and now they're at the festival, because I think they're the last ones to stay behind. Again, we did not get anything explained yet. I still don't fucking know. Anyways, good. They're back. Her. She is the one character. I mean, the guy's also looking really nice. Like, I think the male characters look actually way better and feel like they're characters and look like normal things. She is obviously very stylized and also could close to anime, but I feel like she has something going on that works a lot better than Miss Anime Doll over here. Maybe it's a personal preference. Anyways, she looks way too anime dollish, but she actually looked like kind of okay.
Maybe later.
Right? She just actually looked okay. I was like, yeah, that's good. Like, this works. But yeah, anyways, back to anime doll character that's gonna be in your party forever. So yeah. Right now, we're back at the video game, by the way. So you play the video game, you get your hair cut, because it's an RPG after all, right? Customization. And then you yap about stuff, and then you yap about stuff, then you get your book, and now it triggers this character. So in my situation right now, I did not had a lot of gameplay so far, right? In my 25 minutes. There wasn't a lot of gameplay. In this story game, to be fair. Okay. I didn't get anything explained, where we are, what's happening, what we're doing, who I am, I don't know. Fine. All right, cool. Explained in the main story. I don't want to know this from a side character. I want to know this in the main story. Side characters, if I want to know additional stuff. I don't even know who I am or what I'm doing right now. So, she appears. She literally looks like the character that was my wife or girlfriend. She looks very similar to it. I don't know if that's her mom. I was very confused. I was like, aren't you the same character that we just lost that we were so sad about? But maybe I'm blind because, maybe I have facial blindness. Who knows? Now, I think she has a...
Oh, hey.
Anyways. Yeah, anyways. I think it's his sister. I don't know. Something's off with the models. So, if you thought, oh man, can we play the video game? No, screw you. There's another Attack on Titan cutscene of like... Sorry, this. Gotta do it with the left hand. Anyways, so yeah, Attack on Titan cutscene. Let's go to war! Ah! They fucking died. Good. So yeah. Again, do not care about these characters. Never met them. Who cares? They're all gone. Bye. I actually hate this moment right here. This is probably one of the moments where I was like, oh my god, Luda narrative dissonance once again. They are trained to fight. They can fight. They have magic swords they can just conjure up out of thin air. This is the first time someone actually, I think, fought properly back against these enemies that appeared earlier that attacked them. Or actually, maybe someone else. Yeah, so they're being attacked right now, but this is the first time they actually fight back. Like, you are on the verge of death. You are trained to be a warrior. A little bit more of, I'm gonna do my absolute best to not die and at least do something productive. This is the very first time. So clearly, he had the power to counter or push this enemy away, right? I was like, all right, cool. Good character. All right, sweet. We have some power. There's actually, they clearly show they have trained for this because that's their freaking job for this expedition, right?
Come on, move!
Really cool. Anyway, so he's fucking dead. Cool, poggers. Love it. The last character I had hope for. The last character I had hope for. Anyways, so yeah. I already see it from a mile away. He's alive, obviously. We all know he's alive, obviously. One thing that I find kind of insane is... and this is where the AA really shines through. It's not AAA. Because if you... Again, I'm analyzing every single thing. If you look I think in Unreal Engine or in most engines, you have a depth of field slider. Right, so it fakes being a camera of where the depth of field is from a real camera, right? Of what you want actually in focus. This is usually, I think, a slider in, and I think represented from like 0 to 1 or something along those lines. Either way, or I think it's actually the F, the focal point. So yeah, it's very, very obvious that the animators aren't really used to using it properly, because I was able to see the goddamn focal point right there shift, like very obviously. So I think they forgot to actually put the softness on the depth of field in the engine, because I can literally see right here a line of depth of field running across the thing, and you can actually see like right here. Do you see this? How this like shifts from in focus to out of focus? That's not how a real camera works. You need to soften this up way more. Really soften this up so it's not as super obvious. Because the issue is when you then shift focus, it's extremely obvious, like right here. You see how it shifts right now, where it's like right here right now? Again, I'm going frame by frame, but I noticed this during the cutscene. Do you see how obvious this is? You see how it goes out of focus and goes back in focus? Like there's a literal bar. There's literally a bar across the thing right now where it's in focus. And you can literally see where it like goes out of focus. It's right here. Do you see this line right here? It's, again, that's what I mean with AA and not AAA. AAA would have noticed this. AA probably doesn't have the time or manpower to, go through every cutscene like with a fine-tooth comb. I don't know, whatever the hell it's called. The expression. Good. Anyways. Again, with the cutscenes, they are incredibly long. They are incredibly tedious. They could be cut by about 50%. If you are extremely aggressive, I would probably say a good 30% could be cut, because the only thing we're looking at right now is him barely standing up, being very... I'm confused. Where am I? Oh my god, my heart. I'm guessing he doesn't have a real heart because... Sorry, actually, the heart is here. No, it's actually here because I flipped the camera. I'm sorry. I'm like confused by my own camera. Either way, nothing's happening. And boom, we're running. All right, let's go. We're finally in the game. Expedition status. You can heal your party. You can run around. And boom, another cutscene. You find your first enemy, which is out of the tutorial. This is the very first fight out of the tutorial. I have skipped yapping to NPCs in the town at the beginning of the game. We are 37 minutes in. 37. Just think about the stuff you could have watched instead. The games you could have played instead that might be better. 37. Keep that number in mind. That's quite a lot. Good. Anyways, we're finally in the game and we're playing. Again, another cutscene of enemy dead. Nothing literally happens. Running, climbing, basic video game stuff. That's all fine. Visually, it's kind of interesting. But the issue is we are getting very, 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 very deep into magic territory. Soft magic. Not hard magic. Soft magic. Similar to South of Midnight. Nothing freaking matters anymore. There are corpses, weird corruption, tentacles. I don't know. I think I was on the toilet. Corruption, tentacles, something's happening. The only good female character, I guess, boom, gone. And he's like, ready to end it all. And here comes the one thing.
You do that, we both die.
So, here comes new character. No females? Hyperwork. Hi, Hyperwork. So, this line right here. You do that, we both die. I pray to frickin' God. I think I might play this game until the very ending. I might not even watch the final cutscenes. Who knows? This has two implications. First, if he shoots himself and dies, she is alone and she has to fight on her own. So they both die, right? He dies because he shoots himself. She dies. So she's kind of like guilt-tripping him a little bit and be like, man up and let's do this together, right? Let's get through this together. We can do this. Cool. All right, sick. The other implication is this is all a fucking dream. And she's in her head. He's literally sleeping right now. This is the really bad implication. If this is actually what this line means at the end of the game, this is bad. I pray to God... I don't think it is, because people are praising the ending of this game so freaking hard. I hope it's not this, because if it's after 40 hours of gameplay, it's literally all in your head. Boy, I would be mad. So let's hope the game doesn't do that. Anyways, good. We're skipping ahead. We have a combo fight. We're getting explained the whole their elemental effects. And weaknesses and strengths, and some enemies have armor, and of course you can parry some stuff, so it's a little bit of a... By the way, I'm still in expert difficulty, just FYI. So yeah, you gotta time these things and you can counter, which is pretty cool. I like that, that's combat, that's gameplay, that's the actual game I'm actually buying for, right? The actual gameplay. But yeah, more yapping, holy heck. That could be an emote, to be honest. That whole thing could be an emote. That's, again, AA, not AAA. It's those little things. It's those little things that take you out. Because she's like, holy heck. She looks real happy. Anyways, magic territory. Hold it up there and just... And it sucks it all up. Poggers, pro. What is it? How did he find it out? How did he make it? I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's magic. All right, cool. Moving on. Let's go. So now you have like these passives you can equip. This is the character status, I think, that Shaggy mentions. And this is, I think, where the game, for me, actually starts picking up. We're 48 minutes in the game. This is 45 minutes of actual pain and waiting and suffering a little bit to me. Because the story is not good. Or at least it didn't start off good. At least to me. So yeah. Again, the game does look good. You know, that's same with, I think, most modern games. It does look good. This is, keep in mind, is a 1080p stream and a recording of a game, so it probably doesn't look... It will look far better on your machine, most likely, depending on what machine you have. All right, this is the first duel fight, and yeah, you know, I start noticing that it actually is a little bit tough if you don't dodge, if you don't, like, do some stuff. So, for example, here, boom, I'm dead, but I think... actually, yeah, this is, the expedition failed, so I realized, yeah, this is kind of tough. Gotta, like, really be careful. If you rest at these locations, enemies respawn. You can upgrade your attributes. I think that's pretty much what I do here. I rest after fighting, and then... Oh, sorry, you can't see this. You can upgrade your attributes right here. And then you can also learn skills right here. And this is just a small skill tree. Again, this is all skills. You don't increase the power of your skills. You just learn new skills. And you use them in interesting ways. Fine. I much more prefer just deal more damage. I'm that boring player that just wants more and more damage and have one good ability instead of 17 different ones for 17 different situations, even though you can only have 6 at the same time. At least in the fight, 6 at the same time. Good. Anyhow, keep on moving. More enemies, more enemies, more enemies, more enemies. Small areas right here with some loot scattered around, so it tries to really get you to explore and find small things on the way. Then there's, I think, the big guy again that we fought when we just met her. So this is now just a normal enemy. It's not a big boss. It's just a normal enemy that can roam around, but it is tougher. It has certain weaknesses, so you actually want to take advantage of that to actually kill it. So I do that. I think I do this actually a few times to level up. And by the way, I go full damage. I have gone full damage, and I will go full damage all the time with this. So I think this is, though... Was it right here? No, it wasn't right here. So I continue moving on. Again, I don't know what the story is. I really didn't care about it at this point. The game didn't explain much to me. And I think this is... Yes, this is, I think, where I start skipping stuff. Yes, because it's so badly done. Again, where they just look at each other. And now they're noticing the big-ass white monster moving in front of them. It's so dumb. Really. You were standing a meter away from it, by the way. And you didn't notice the thing. Anyways, it's just so bad. And I was like, yeah, nah, bruh. Nah. I'm like... Let's keep it going, brother. Let's keep it going. I need my gameplay, or else I'm falling asleep in this video game. So, this is the first big boss, and I actually was wondering, is this genuinely the case now? Because this feels like the expert difficulty actually increases the health. You see this right here. This is the damage I did. This is not one attack. These are multiple attacks, because you have 21, 21, 24, and... yeah, she's already dead. I'm dead. I was like, interesting. Let's try this again. This time we'll do it properly. I'm clearly better now, right? I think I dodge and I parry a little bit better. So I do more damage. But ultimately, I think I also die. Because this enemy, very difficult. So I just did 108 damage there. What was this with like a... The burn did 108. And it's a 3-stack burn. And I was like, that's a bit strange. It's a bit weird. It feels like the enemies have more health. Because this seems insane for expert difficulty. At least it didn't say anything about increasing the health of enemies, right? If you keep in mind, the expert difficulty said... Hard difficulty with highly demanding combat. Enemies deal greater damage and mastering dodges and parries is required. I see nothing about health here. Thus, I assumed it didn't increase the fucking health of enemies. Because I don't like it. That's why I chose expert mode. I don't mind if the enemies two-shot me, if I can also two-shot the enemies. That's not the case. So... I think it was at this point that I think I started changing the difficulty. Yeah, so I changed it now to story. It's very easy to change, thankfully. So you just go into the settings and say story and boom, you're already in. And now, look at the health bar. When I do, I think, the basic fire ability. That's 72 damage. That's less than what I did previously, but I think it did like triple the health bar. Of damage, at least. So yeah, I'm 99% sure expert difficulty increases the health of enemies, which is hot freaking garbage, and I don't know why they couldn't communicate that to the player. It's really difficult. Enemies have more health. That's all it requires. Literally, that's all it requires. Again, that's what I mean with AA. You clearly notice that the AA studio, because they can't really properly nail everything. Maybe they didn't have time, the manpower. Again, you know, maybe they needed like a solid more month to really like cut the cutscenes a little bit down, because they have a lot of fat on them, right? Like cut it off, like get it moving, you know, properly explain certain buffs, certain abilities. So yeah. A lot of this stuff is kind of missing. Anyways, enemy dead. We're moving on. And this is also like what really... This is the world map, by the way, of Expedition 33. I don't know if I'm a big fan of this. I don't know. It seems it's interesting, but it's like... I don't know if I fully vibe with the world map looking like this. Because you're like smaller, but everything else is big. Even though it's just trees, but you're the same size. So it's like, I don't know, just I don't know, like just something feels a little bit off. I think I know what they're trying to do, as in like you quickly moving through the world, right, that you're in. But again, we're in magic territory anyway since the past 30 minutes, so you know, I don't know. So yeah, we're going to the underwater area now. I was gaming. This really was really weird. So you go in here, and I'm guessing you go into this door. Suddenly you're in the mansion. Yeah, this is a small, I mean, I'm nitpicking at this point anyways, but yeah, it feels like some areas are not properly connected. It's like they had cool ideas and clearly the artists to do this job, because it looks fucking insane. Like, look at this, it looks fucking sick. Again, visually, sick, poggers. But like, bringing it all together from a level design doesn't really work. Like, what are we playing here? We went from this through a magic door, and suddenly we're in this mansion. You couldn't have done this differently? Really? Out of all, like, you're magic. You can do everything. And it clearly they did everything, because you just go through a magic portal, I guess, and you're suddenly in this mansion. Anyways, you go in this mansion for literally to get a anime doll character, by the way. Yo, she's back, boys, let's go. Anyway, she's now with you, you know. And you fight your way out. You also now have the ability to jump. So sometimes you just have to jump and then counter-attack. So it's another way of parrying pretty much, but it takes different inputs. Kind of interesting, I guess. One thing I like is you can fight the merchant for extra loot. that then is being unlocked, but it is a one-to-one combat, so that's kind of neat. So it goes away from the team-based fight to back to a one-to-one fight again. It's kind of neat, but of course, you know, it's not, I think, that difficult. I think I did, yeah, just parrying a lot. Parrying also is way easier in story difficulty, of course, because I think that the window is much larger in which you can parry. So, yeah, still going full damage, and I think I'm now even starting to realize that there are different weapons, starting to, I think, equip different weapons. Like right here, you can actually see at the bottom here, you find a new weapon, which has power, element, the agility, and luck. So it's similar to, I think, also Souls-like games, where you have attributes, and weapons have stronger... Like, they're stronger if you have more in that attribute, you know, like a dexterity weapon, you go for more dexterity and all that jazz. It's similar to this. But overall, the power level is pretty high for everything you find, as long as you just explore a little bit. You can find pretty much everything you need. And, yeah, I think I've been yapping for quite a long time, and, this is roughly where I'm like, okay, I have now started to skip the story for the past 30 minutes. Some things just don't make sense. Like, you go from one area and suddenly you're in a different area. It's a bit weird. But I am vibing now, right? I am vibing with the gameplay, the turn-based thing. I'm kind of getting more into it, even though I'm not a huge turn-based fan. But I'm starting to, like, get into it, right? Like, I'm vibing with it. So that's good. This is kind of interesting, because she says, like...
This one is gigantic.
I think her name is Merida. I don't know. So yeah, avoid those at all costs. I'm like, all right, cool. Very nice. But I like this part right here. You know, there's like, again, this is gameplay. I like me some fucking gameplay. Not in a cutscene of like, avoid those at all costs, and then there's a cutscene of them fighting the exact same thing they should avoid at like, no, do it in motherfucking gameplay. And this is what the game did. Avoid it at all costs. And then they have this sneaky little passage right here. That's how you do it. That's good. That's world building. That's makes me care about your video game developers. This right here, do this more often. That. So now you find this thing, clearly an enemy that walks towards you. You can probably run away, but I was like, I was looking at my health. I was like, we are pretty much full health, more or less. I could heal, actually, because this is a, this on the bottom right, the Chroma Elixir is a party heal, like fully heal. And I was like, you know what? I'ma do this. I'ma freaking do it. Let's go. So, I fought this thing. This was a fight, and this was on easy difficulty. This was an actual fight. This was, I think, more difficult than any boss so far. To a degree. There's a boss coming up later in this recording. So, either way, the short form is, I really had to figure out what the weakness is, how to kind of use, like, my party members to heal myself, to also give myself shields. But problem is, this thing just swallows your expeditioners. It just literally absorbs them. So now I'm not 3 versus 1, I'm now 2 versus 1. That's very bad. That's very bad. She's also, I think, slightly weaker. I think Merida, I think her name is Merida. I forget names. So, yeah. This becomes kind of difficult now. It also spits miasma, which exhausts you. Exhaust, I think, pauses your AP per round. So you get AP per round. You get 1 AP, so 1 attack per round. And this is actually... you actually get no AP for that round if you have exhaust. So there's that. But... fine. Just gotta deal with it. You can, of course, parry it, but I sucked ass, so I didn't. Either way, continued fighting and struggling, healing, really using everything, power myself up, you know, maybe give myself some shields. But, of course, this absolute motherfricker absorbs her too. So I was now 1 versus 1 against this goddamn thing.
For those who come after.
But thankfully, you do quite a lot of damage. You do quite a lot of damage on easy difficulty and going full damage, by the way. So there's that. Keep that in mind. That was full damage. Or a full damage build. So this was a very difficult fight. Took me nearly 5 minutes for that. Not long 5 minutes, right? But it's a 5 minute of constant... Okay, do I do this before? Like, you're pretty much playing 5 minutes of chess against the one enemy, right? While it absorbs your, like, pieces on the board. It's cool. I like that. I liked it a lot, right? That was cool. Again, this is an hour 56 minutes in. Having skipped everything for the past hour in terms of cutscenes, I think. No, I think I actually... No, I think I already skipped. So yeah, imagine when I would have gotten there if I did watch every cutscene. Probably add another 30 minutes. I don't think I would have had this much fun against this enemy if I had bad cutscenes for 30 minutes long. Anyways, good. Moving on. Another boss, kind of cool. New area. This is, I think, the one boss where I really struggled. This was the one boss where I think I actually... No, I didn't die against this boss. But I died once again in this area on easy difficulty against other enemies. But yeah, this was tough. This boss was real tough. Yeah, this was... Ow. Ow. Nice. Yeah, this was quite the fight against this thing. I give it that. That was a 10-minute fight, by the way. That was a 10-minute fight. Yeah. That was tough. That was indeed tough. I do like, you know, the gruesomeness of, like, the blood on her, the clothing and everything. Again, the quality is, like, great. Visually, it's real nice. But again, I think the character design is just, like... I don't know about this one, Chief. So, yeah. Then you go in here, because this is, I think, one of the areas. So it's pretty much like a tribe of people. So you go in the first area, then you're in this middle area, and then I think you go into the second one, which is the actual village of those people. And this is where I stopped playing. This was 2 hours and 40 minutes. And keep in mind, I stopped watching the cutscenes about 2 hours earlier. Maybe at least 1.5. I think roughly around... 1.5 actually, because I think... Yeah, this is the last cutscene, I think, of this thing. This is when I start... So about an hour in, I was like, yeah, I'm done with the story. I was literally done with the story. So yeah. It is a video game. It is a video game. Will I play more? Probably, yeah, but I think I can only do it offline because I might need some breaks from the game once in a while. It's neat. It's I guess, a neat game. If you do enjoy this, though, you know, feel free to play the game. It is a story game over a game, in my opinion, because there's a lot of cutscene, a lot of lore, apparently, that, yeah, the game didn't really explain at the beginning, didn't really try to explain. So, yeah. That's that. That was that. That was my experience of 2 hours and 40 minutes with Expedition 33 about a few days ago. I might play more. Again, you know, it's through Xbox Game Pass, so I will probably play more, but we'll see how this turns out, how much time I have, how much I want to, and how the game develops, right? Like gameplay-wise as well, because I'm going to continue skipping the entire story. I will not care about these characters because, you know, in my opinion, they started off wrong, and yeah, that's just how it is. Good.